Hey everyone, it's Sunflower Spirit, and I'm here to do a New Year 2025 reading. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. There will be some parts. This could be a little bit longer, but I'll do timestamps so you can either do all of it or some of it or none of it. Um, so we're going to take a look at the collective energy for this new year for 2025. We also have a black new moon today, the 30th. So we're going to take a look into the energy with that um, as well. So first I'm going to take an archetype card and we're going to see what what is the overall archetypal energy for the collective for 2025? What energy is the collective in? Everyone, the collective. What is the archetypal energy that the collective is in? We have poet. So we have light attribute, expresses soul, insights, and symbolic language, and shadow attribute turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. Okay, so I feel like 2025 is going to be filled with a lot of symbolism, and this has actually been coming out for me in multiple other ways. So I feel like, so when I talk about symbolism, what I mean is what is on the surface, what they're showing you, or what the narrative is not going to be what's true. So it's going to be it's not that people are being dishonest. I mean, some people probably are, but what really is happening is there's something that needs to be looked at below the surface. And so we're being called in 2025 to make sure that we are not taking words, narratives, things for face value, that we're really taking the time to kind of go within, which can be uncomfortable. A lot of us don't want to do that because it is uncomfortable. We have prostitute on the back. So we have light attribute, accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. An shadow attribute places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. Yeah, this, I mean, I'm not surprised that this came out. So this is all about power, and this is about finding that balance between, getting your needs met, but also not subscribing to powers that can be destructive. And so that's kind of why with the poet, we're being called to kind of like look underneath everything and see things sort of in a different for what they are. So maybe it takes a little bit of research. This takes a little bit more time than just taking things for face value, taking service level. And also we want to make sure that, we're not just giving away, like we're not just trying to survive um and giving away anything and everything, including our personal power to survive. But it's taking that power back. It's taking the power back from like greater entities or greater like bigger organizations or things like that. Things that like we have no control over, right? So it's kind of like, how do you take your power back? Which, I mean, that's a really hard, I just, heard myself say that. That's a really hard thing to do. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but this is kind of like what the archetypal energy of the collective is in at this point. Okay. So knowing that, let's um let's take a look at the energy and see what kind of energy we have coming in for um, how we can empower ourselves, embolden ourselves to take risks and tackle new adventures in this new year, in 2025. How can we empower ourselves to not like totally give our power away, but also to not totally rely on conserving our powers for means of survival? Like, how do we embolden ourselves? How do we empower ourselves with this new year? How does everyone, how does a collective empower themselves to take risks and take on new adventures. So what is the energy for everyone? So we have Ten of Swords. So we need to overcome some pain. We need to kind of like move past the things that maybe haven't been working, maybe the disappointments, the depression. We need to figure a way to get ourselves out of these kind of ruts, which again, easier said than done. Queen of Cups need to focus on self-care, focus on the small things, the little things, what gives us joy. Five of Wands, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of chaos. And, if you've been in this world for a while, which most of us have, there's always a lot of chaos. So I think it's kind of like instead of, finding it painful to be around all this chaos, it's like, how can you give yourself what you need? How do you nurture yourself and how do you give yourself the love that you need so that you're not um, getting kind of like sucked into this um, chaotic energy, to this energy that is conflicting? What else do we have for everyone to empower themselves to take risks and be adventurous? Ace of Cups. Yeah, again, like, what is it that fulfills you? Figuring out what the things that fulfill you. How do you find those things within this chaos? How do you like hold on to this mystery? We have the Five of Wands is typically about chaos, but the cats represent mystery. The cats represent mystery. They also represent kind of like perseverance too. So kind of like, how do you get yourself through, get yourself up out of this? Because see, the sun is coming up. The sun's coming up, even though there's that pain and that heartbreak, the sun is coming up. What else for everyone for empowering themselves in the year 2025 and for taking risks, taking adventures? Judgment. What is it that you're willing to do? How far are you willing to go? Like, when you think about your pain, when you think about the things that are painful for you, how do you get yourself back up to a point where you see this lady skipping and making music and just really kind of like this playful energy? But judgment is kind of like assessing the past. So it's kind of like, maybe we had that pain in the past, but how do we overcome that pain right now in the present? How do we find the joy? How do we change? How do we change so that the mystery is not one that holds us back, rather it propels us forward? What else? The Devil. So maybe there's some things you need to release. What are you feeling bound to? I feel like for whoever this is resonating for, whatever you're feeling bound to is going to come from not giving yourself those needs. You're feeling resentful to the world. You're feeling resentful to the universe, to God, whoever. But really what's happening is like, because you've neglected yourself, and that's what that prostitute was saying. It's like, you can't just like neglect yourself, neglect your own power just for survival. So there's got to be a better way. So what is your advice? What is something that you're holding on to, that you feel bound to, that you feel tied to, that if you just released it, you could have these little bits of joy come into your life, that you could feel like you're nurturing yourself, that you could feel like you are giving that love to yourself? What else for everyone for being adventurous and taking risks in 2025? We have the Magician. Yeah, taking your power back. This is literally taking your power back with the Five of Wands to the Magician. That's and then we have the Moon. So yeah, taking your power back, knowing where your power is, knowing like the things that you have in your, the tools that you have in your toolbox, or the things that you have in your sewing kit that like help you to move forward. Like, the magician has he has a wand, he has a sword, he has a cup, he has a pentacle. And so he's like, he knows that those are very powerful tools to have to get out of this energy of conflict and chaos. And then we have the moon. So really like finding the things that fulfill you, but also being willing to kind of like go a little bit deeper into that intuition, like I was telling you, not just look at surface level. That's the poet archetype that we saw. Not just look at those surface level things, but really, you know, look at things, and even with your personal fulfillment, they're saying to look at it in a way of like going beyond the surface level. We have the star on the back. So I feel like 2025 is going to be filled with a lot of healing, very deep healing, very ethereal healing. Like it's going to go way beyond. It's going to go like below your conscious level of awareness. This is healing that we're being called to do for self-fulfillment, for self-love, for the purpose of self-love. How do we release ourselves from the bonds that maybe we had put in place, maybe other people had, but maybe we had as well. And also, do you notice how this whole bottom row is majors here? So, that's what I'm saying about the level of depth, because on the surface level here, we just have these are nice cards, but going a little bit deeper, it's like really assessing your past, really assessing like what it is that um, are here for, what it is that you're made of. How do you like self-express and also kind of get your needs met at the same time? And this is about like you taking your power back, essentially. So it is going to be about healing, because when we take our power back, that's when we are healing. So that's beautiful for that. So we're going to move on to the next part, which I'm going to ask another question. I'll put these over to the side here. So we are going to ask now, what will fuel the collective's or everyone's creativity in the year 2025? What will fuel the collective's creativity in 2025? So that's kind of like we just saw taking power back, taking risks, taking adventures. But what will fuel the creativity for everyone, individually and collectively, for 2025? So we're talking about creativity. We have the Hanged Man. So getting different perspectives, also being patient with yourself. And this is also about going deep too. This is a Pisces card, so that would be about like going to that deeper level, taking it to a different level. You're starting with this planting a seed, but then, how do you think about and cultivate how that seed is going to grow? Like, are all seeds the same? Like, does it need exactly what the last project needed? And healing again. What is it that you're desiring? Paying attention to healing and your wishes, your most intimate desires, and giving yourself an opportunity to pause and really like consider those before moving forward for creativity. What else do we have? The Chariot. You need to align yourself with your values so that you can move forward. This is about making like decisive decisions, moving forward, really focusing on which way you want to align yourself with everything. So, wow, this is beautiful so far. What else for creativity for 2025? The Tower. Expect the unexpected. So there might be changes. You might have to think about, you know, ways in which your project might not work out the way that you originally thought it would, and you're going to have to adapt to that. You're going to have to change that. So this is being flexible. This is about like learning how to adapt to things. It's learning how to kind of just roll with the punches, like whatever comes your way. It's learning how to kind of like navigate, those choppy waters that weren't expected, those emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, the situations, the context. How do you like overcome challenge and change? And they're asking you to do so with grace. They're telling you that, like, this is going to be a healing process and you're going to have to align yourself with your values to get through this. But you need to give yourself the grace with the hanged man here to really, allow yourself to be flexible in the situation. Like, it's like that growth mindset versus fixed mindset kind of thing. We have the world. Yeah, so allow yourself to complete cycles that need to be completed and allow yourself to move forward. Like give yourself the grace to move forward. We have strength, perseverance through the healing. Healing isn't easy. Giving yourself, you know, patience and grace and uh, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. We have Ace of Wands, so allowing yourself to be inspired by the changes. Allow the changes to inspire you. The star with the strength is really like reconciling um your polar opposites between yourself. It's really like coming to terms, like how do you love the parts of yourself that you don't appreciate or you don't enjoy, or maybe the parts that project out into the world and you see it other people rub you the wrong way, you know? And really like taking control of that energy, taking control of with this Eighth of Wands here and the Chariot, taking control of that energy and really like which way do you want to move yourself? How fast and how far do you want to go? What else do we have for creativity for everyone for 2025? We have the Eight of Swords. So you need to, it's a perceptual thing again. I think I started out saying perception, and then we have the Seven of Swords on the back. So yeah, definitely needing to really like think about how your thoughts interplay into your whole life. How do the things like becoming consciously aware of how your thoughts really impact everything around you. And when you do have a sudden change, how is it your thoughts that make you feel stuck? How is it your thoughts that kind of also get you out of feeling that way? With the Seven of Swords, this can be about strategy too. So, it's really like kind of playing the game of chess of your own life where you're just trying to like see maybe a step or two ahead. And, sometimes we can't always, but there are situations where we can. And so, really taking the time, like we have the Magician again. Yeah, really taking the time to, and also paying attention to ego. Am I doing this for ego? Um, Matt Kahn sums up ego in 3 words: cheat to win. So are you trying to do this to cheat to win, or are you doing this for a bigger, better, more like soul-filled purpose? Um, and so, this is kind of what I'm seeing, I guess, for the creativity. So giving yourself that patience, that grace, allowing yourself to heal, reconciling the parts of yourself that you don't like about yourself, and moving forward with your value system and accepting changes, like learning how to be flexible when things don't go exactly the way that we had planned them. Okay, so moving on to the next part of the reading. Now we're going to take a look at um, how we can enhance and improve relationships with self and others. So we've seen a little bit of that, but let's go ahead. Let's take some um, let's see how the collective in 2025 can improve and enhance relationships with themselves and with other people. So So how can the collective in 2025 improve and enhance relationships with themselves and with others? All right. So what does everyone need to know for 2025? We have Eight of Swords. So figure out how your thoughts sometimes work against you with these things. Figure out how to overcome the perception of feeling stuck, of feeling trapped in situations. What else do we have? Yeah, what is it? What are the things that inspire you? What are the things that you're passionate about? How do you use, this passion for yourself rather than against yourself, or for others rather than against others? We have Knight of Pentacles. So recognize that the journey is a process. It takes time too. And so even with this inspiration and motivation, there's an element of patience. There's an element of, learning is a process, learning um, how to do things differently, or, having some type of mission. The knights always are on a mission for something. This is going to take a little bit of time. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't really move very quickly, but he does move with stability. What else for everyone? What does everyone need to know for their relationships with themselves and others in 2025? Recognize who your friends are. Pay attention to, you know, intuitive signs that you get about people who are in your life. Are they actually friends? Do they actually, present as friends? And then if they are, like, they're saying to enjoy spending time with them and to enjoy talking with them. And create meaningful relationships, create meaningful connections with the people who are here for you. The Hanged Man, interesting. So this is about, like, recognizing that your self-care, you getting yourself out of this Eight of Swords is ultimately going to come from you. Do you see she has, like, the sun right there? So she's getting clarity. There's some sort of clarity where she's recognizing, this is only one perspective. This is only one way to look at things. So maybe taking different perspectives, and taking different perspectives will get you out of this Eight of Swords energy. What else? The Emperor, recognizing that, it's interesting that the chess thing came out again, that you are in control. You have the power. You are an empowered being. And so how do you, with the Ace of Wands to the Emperor, how do you, use that wand to your advantage? How do you, um, you know, create the energy that you want in your life, the energy that surrounds you and the energy that fulfills you? And how does this energy create your stability and create your security in life? Take control. We have the Ten of Cups. So yeah, they're saying too that, like, a lot of times with the Nine of Pentacles here, these things take a while. So having that patience, this is again like kind of reflecting the last reading where, having that patience, having that grace to really give yourself the opportunity to grow with other people. Give other people the opportunity. How do you align yourself with the rainbow here? That reminds me of the chakra. So how do you align yourself with another person? How do you guys align together? And being really conscious of these things. What else? That was a lot of cards. What else for everyone for relationships in 2025? We have Judgment again. Yeah, do you want to do things differently or do you want to do them similarly? And then also with the Three of Wands, Judgment and Three of Wands came out together. This is you, planning. How do you move ahead? How do you make things happen for you? Um, in 2025? How are you going to really get your ship sailing and then, have the opportunity to watch the things that you created really come in for you? We have the Nine of Cups on the back of the deck. So this is also about being playful. It's about being romantic. It's about expressing your emotions. So they're asking you to be honest and express yourself in situations. They're asking you to, you know, we have this Three of Cups where I was seeing the intuition of recognizing who your people are, who is for you and who's not. With the Judgment there, it's like, yeah, maybe you haven't done this in the past. Maybe you want to do things differently. And so that's why now you're planning with these wands. These are the energetic stabilizers of, planning and carrying out a plan and not just going at it like willy-nilly. It's really making sure that you are self-expressing, that you're being truthful about what it is that you're wanting and needing, that you are giving of yourself, not only to others, but of yourself. All right, so now I'm going to get some advice for everyone for 2025. So, moving into the year 2025, what is the advice for everyone? What does everyone need to know? What does the collective need to know to navigate successfully the year 2025? What does everyone need to know? What is the advice for everyone, please? The advice for everyone. We have Elder. Move beyond ancestral patterns. Yeah, this is talking about healing again. This is about that deep healing. This is about those generational wounds. How are you contributing to healing yourself? This is root chakra energy. So this could be like healing trauma wounds. This could be, finally taking that scary step. And it's really scary. It's scary to be vulnerable about that stuff. It's scary to look at yourself and be like, oh my gosh, I am the problem. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me, as Taylor Swift would say. Um, so yeah, this is like root chakra energy. And this is like, you really looking at the patterns in your life, the patterns not only just from like maybe your ancestors or generational patterns, but the patterns of yourself. Like, how are you navigating things? Is this working for you? This is part of that Judgment card. How do you make it work better for you? If not, those are kind of the things you want to look at. What other advice do we have for everyone for the new year for 2025? We have the moon. Take note of intuitive messages. Yeah, we saw this. So the moon reminds us that everything happens in cycles. So nothing is here like permanently, right? Things pass, emotions flow through us. The moon symbolizes emotions and they flow through us. So it's kind of like taking that inner higher perspective of using your intuition, making the best decision that you can. And when you've healed some of that root chakra stuff, some of that trauma stuff, you will have more, you will have a better kind of compass for that intuitive energy. What other advice do we have for everyone for the year 2025, please? What other advice do we have for everyone? We have Traveler, move in a new direction. Yeah, so this could be moving in a new direction. Literally, like you could be moving or traveling, you could be traveling the world. They're saying get out of your comfort zone, basically. But this is also, you know, moving in a new direction in your thoughts and your emotions. How do you get out of that Eight of Swords energy? How do you get out of being stuck in that rut? Well, some of it's going to be healing. Some of it's going to be, cultivating your intuition and really respecting that like divine feminine energy of your intuition within yourself. We have on the back animal guardian, trust your instincts. So this is about being sensitive, being vulnerable. Animals are very sensitive for a reason. And that reason is because their instincts tell them when there's danger. And this is, when you cultivate healing, when you cultivate your intuition, you will learn how to listen better to your body. When you have trauma though, you're it's going to be harder for you to listen to that. That's why it's so important to heal it. So 2025 ultimately is about getting out of your comfort zone. It's about listening to your intuition. It's about healing, and it's about learning how to be vulnerable and not, our society has this whole big thing, oh, you're so sensitive, you shouldn't be sensitive. And while maybe that's true to a point, maybe, it's better if you're not. There are a lot of good things about cultivating that sensitivity within us. There's a lot of good things about cultivating that vulnerability because that's how we're genuine, real people. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonates. I hope everyone has a fantastic 2025. And thank you guys so much for stopping by today.